Well, I did say 1855, and according to my watch, my clock, my phone that's directly in front of me, it's 1853. So guess what? Today, we did the unthinkable. We showed up early. Guys, do me a favor. First of all, I need you to tell me if this broadcast is loud and clear. We've had a very productive day here at Simoson Building. I'm over here at 8585 Simon Mwewa Lane on here at Simoson Building. What I need you to do at this very moment, you know, my hair's all messed up. Joseph Chishimba, good to see you, brother. Loud and clear. You know, I made the fatal mistake. I did. Tell me, especially the men, tell me if you've ever done this. You know, hey, Bo, I see you. Thank you so much. Love you. So good to have you. Thank you. Not too long ago, I went to a barber shop, and I've been using the same barber for more than 25 years. He's the same guy. He cuts my hair. He cuts my son's hair. But for some reason, that particular day, I went to another guy. And how many people know it doesn't matter how good the other guy is, invariably, they will mess up your hair. I mean, not that he's a bad barber. It's just that when you're used to the same barber for 25 years, anything that slightly deviates from what you're used to looks like a complete disaster. Do you know that when President Barack Obama was first elected as president, he moved his barber from Chicago to Washington, D.C.? Did you guys know this? Tell me in the comments if you know it. That's how important, that's how critical, that's how vital a barber is. The President of the United States will move his barber from Chicago to Washington, D.C. If Barack Obama wouldn't take a chance on a different barber, who the heck am I to do that? Well, I did that, and the guy messed up my hair. You know, now I look like a cone head or something. I don't know. The hair's not doing it. Tell me in the comments what you think. Guys, please jump on the live, and if you could do me a favor and share this live, share it with people that, you know, just share it so that we can sort of widen our net of participants and viewers. It helps, you know, and anything that you can do to sort of nudge the broadcast forward is a good thing for us. I know it's a few minutes before the news, 4 minutes before the news to be exact, but I wanted to get my 2 cents worth before I go home. I'm about to leave. Before I get into my dissertation, what I'd like to do is to sort of express my dismay at this acid spillage by this Chinese company. As you know, our very important source of water has been, to a degree, contaminated by a Chinese mining firm, and we are being told that the authorities are dealing with it. But let's not lose sight of the fact that this is potentially devastating. If this matter is not handled swiftly, if it's not handled expeditiously, it could cause a variety of damage. And I shudder to think. I mean, when I hear stories like this, it just makes me ask the question: if we as Zambians went to China and opened a mining firm, and we polluted a major water resource in Shanghai, answer that question in the comments below. Let me ask it again, because, you know, this is beyond partisan politics. This has got nothing to do with partisan politics. It has everything to do with the sanctity, the health of our people as a whole, us, you and me. And I ask the question again, and please try and answer it in the comments below. If a Zambian mining firm, by some miracle, went to Shanghai and opened a mining firm and accidentally spilt acid in Shanghai's major water resource, a resource that millions multiplied, multiplicity of multitudinous tens of millions of Chinese people depend on for their source of water. If a Zambian company were to abrogate the law, were to cause that type of devastating spillage, would the Chinese authorities, I shudder to think. Honestly, I shudder to think. I pray that the authorities, the government would go into overdrive and deal with this matter conclusively for the sanctity and for the safety of the Zambian people. You know, so please don't put us at risk in that way. Do not expose us to that type of calamity. Don't leave us bare and open to that type of danger. Don't do that. The Kafue River is a very important river resource that every one of us depends on. And for that to happen there raises lots of questions. It really does. And I'll be honest with you, I'm devastated. I really am. And that has to be dealt with expeditiously. All right, I had three things I wanted to talk to you about. Please remind me in the comments below what they are. And let me also very quickly mention, here it is, I'll say right in a moment here. As many of you know, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, has ordered immigration to crack down on illegal immigrants. Let me say this, and this is a tip that I want to give the government. I know the guys in government know this. I know the guys in immigration know this. I know they know this because I've spoken to them about this. The number one place that you should look for illegal immigrants, street vending. Street vending. You know why? Because in street vending, nobody asks you for your papers. Nobody asks you for your documents. Nobody. It's free for all. Most street ni all. But when you go to the market, when you try to set up a business in a market, in a normal world, the market masters, the system requires you to produce an NRC. Of course, we know there are cases where people forge NRCs. That's a different deal. I'm talking about the legitimacy of Zambian citizens trying to access services by being part of a market, an established market. A market will usually ask you to produce a valid NRC. And they scrutinize you. They make sure that you're a Zambian because, you know, these markets are highly subsidized. Do you know how much it costs to rent in a market? For example, city market. It's only 3 kwacha per day. Those stands. I'm not talking about setting up your stand in the road or paliapama bus palia. No, I'm talking about the stalls. Not stores, stalls. Tuma stand city market. Those are called stalls. A stall is a little space, a tiny space that people trade in. Those stalls, S-T-A-S-S-S, I think it's double L-S, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Those stalls in city market only cost 3 kwacha per day. Only 3 kwacha per day. But in the street, on the street, you have to deal with kadas. On the street, it's kadas that go around. They'll say, for example, in this area, they'll come and say, no, Monday na Friday, twakura pita kuma 17:30, Chilamuntu, Kuriprama 10 kwacha, 10 kwacha, 10 kwacha. The street vendors. And then every month, each street vendor has to pay 50 kwacha, 50 kwacha, 50 kwacha. Where does that money go? Just cadres. Just, that's all it is. The cadres take it, you know. That's the reason most cadres, regardless of which political party they come from, regardless of which political persuasion they're from, most cadres don't want street vending to end. They don't, because it is a revenue stream for them. On one hand, they may be talking about, yeah, vendors from street, but Mumbadi on the periphery, they're whispering, we from mamo, street just be in the street. Why? Because they know that every Monday and Friday, cadres, and they've been doing this for years, all political parties do this, they send their boys into the street, Chilamuntu. Now imagine if there are 1,000 street vendors. Let's do some math. Let's participate. There are more than 1,000, but let's, for argument's sake, let's say there are 1,000 street vendors. And each vendor, every Monday, and because that's how they do it, every Monday on Lumumba Road, Monday and Friday, the cadres go through, they collect 10 kwacha. So they're collecting 10 kwacha every Monday, and there are more than 1,000. So 1,000 times 10, how much is that? 1,000 people, and that's a very conservative number, times 10. Tell me put the figure there in the comments. Okay, and again, that's a very conservative figure. Okay, 1,000 times 10. That figure times 2. Okay, because they collect twice a week, Monday and Friday. That figure times 4 in a month. And then add to that 50 kwacha per month times 1,000 people. That's, again, a very conservative figure. All of that money doesn't go to Lusaka City Council. It just goes to cadres. So if you want to tackle illegal immigration, especially in the CBD, if you tackle the street vendors first, if you make sure that the streets are clear of vending and everybody operates in the market, and do not be lied to, do not be misled, do not be deceived, all the markets in this city can absorb all the street vendors, all the traders. Because City Market, Simon Lane Market, BH Market, Soweto Market, those are not the only markets. There are many different markets in every area. In Chainda, there's a market. Kanyama, there's a market. There's so many markets spread across the city. The reason you think that the markets cannot absorb the street vendors is because you've told yourself that the only available markets are City Market and the Simon Mwewa and the BH. There are many markets in this city. Each market can absorb all the markets together. All the markets as a conglomerate, they can all absorb the traders. So if you are serious about tackling illegal immigration, if you are serious about cracking down on illegal immigrants, and let me tell you, our borders are so porous. There are so many illegals in this country, in the CBD especially. It's unbelievable. You'd have to see it to believe it. And so I applaud Jack Mwimbu for declaring, for giving this directive. However, I must hasten to caution the administration. If you are serious about it, if you want it to go beyond mere platitudes and exclamations and proclamations, if you want it to go beyond that and go into the territory of action and actually doing, the first place you tackle, the street vendors, because they are ubiquitous. There are so many illegals that trade as if they're Zambians when they're not. Do you know that in this country, ama illegals baratuseka sana. Maisha so. Ngabayisa kuno bamunati, oh, so if ama Zambians abakuyisa fye wa ingira fye mu street wamba okushitisha. Ama kaddas fye bayisa mukupinda ama 10 kwacha. That's all. They don't ask for ID, they don't have nothing. Wow. This is heaven. That's what happens. So if immigration is serious, that's where to start. Okay, secondly, Kiddist versus Musiani. I got to give you an update. As you know, judgment is next week, my understanding, and of course, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because you always do, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the trial has come to an end. Judgment is next week, Friday. This is all I'm going to say. If the prosecution can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Musiani threatened Kiddist with violence using a computer device, a phone, a laptop, in the current climate that we're in, that is trying to combat cyberbullying, cyber crimes, and threatening violence using the internet or via the internet, if the prosecution can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that those things indeed occurred, he's going to prison. And when he does, he's not going to be the first one or the last. You know, prison comprises the best of people. So don't you think for one moment that, oh no, Musiani can't go to prison. Really? If the prosecution proves it, that's exactly where he's going to go. So we wait and see next week, Friday. Lastly, this young man that tried to kill him, tried to off himself. Can you say K-I-L-L on social media? I don't think so. I'll use the word off. He tried to off himself. That's how they say it in New York. New Yorkers say that. He offed himself. Do you know what it means to off yourself? To off yourself means to eliminate yourself. Guys, understand this. Suicide is a temporary solution. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I want you to get that. I want you to understand that. Let me say that again. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Well, what do you mean? Well, you know, the problem is that you're heartbroken. And trust me, I'm 55 years old. I've been through that. If you've lived any length of time, heartbreak is part of the human experience. It all depends on how you respond to it. None of us are perfect. Sometimes when you're heartbroken, you say the dumbest things and you do the dumbest things. We've all been there. Okay, I'm 55. Before I got married, I had how many relationships? I think I had 3 very significant relationships. And one of those was quite devastating when we broke up, you know, and you're a young man and you really think that, look, this is the only woman for me and I can't imagine being with anyone else. And when you trap yourself in that thinking, it can be quite devastating. But it's very important to understand the compass of your life. See where you are. Okay? Don't think that you're alone and you're isolated. Talk to friends, talk to people. Vent. Find someone that you can just release and vent. If it means your mother, your father, your uncle, your brother, your colleague, find someone that you can talk to and let everything out. Cry if you have to, get upset if you have to, get a ball, throw it against the wall if you have to. And it'll take a while because healing is not instant. But keep in mind, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Because after a while, you get over it. And you look back and you think, oh my goodness, what the hell was I thinking? You know, there's a very famous saying that tragedy is humor in retrospect. Say it with me. Say it with me in the comments. Type this. Tragedy. Am I saying it right? No. Humor. Humor is tragedy in retrospect. That's right. That's what it is. Sorry, I mixed it up. I messed it up. My bad. Humor is tragedy in retrospect. When you look back, you can laugh and say, whoo, boy, we dodged the bullet, didn't we? But when you are going through it at that time, there's nothing that's funny about it. Nothing. Because your whole world has crumbled. When you go through a breakup, especially a breakup where you love the person and it's it's not reciprocated. They don't love you back in the way you love them. Ooh, there is no pain like that pain, honey. Whoa, Lord. It's so bad. There are no words in the human vocabulary that can adequately describe the pathos of that pain. But guess what? The sun always comes up. It always does. And you hearing me say that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because you're in the thick of it. No amount of words is going to make you feel better. The only thing that will heal you is consistency and time. Nothing else. So don't off yourself. Remember, humor is tragedy in retrospect. All right. Thought I'd share that with you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going home. God bless. Bye.